Well, at least the city of Philadelphia will be reminded what it's still like to lose a game for one of their sports teams, just in case somebody wins the big game tomorrow night. Don't want to say its name, but thus usher in the copyright gods and get this video flagged. What was that? I'm looking at props for tomorrow night. Hey, all of you watching, if you do follow Jersey Guys lead, know your limit, play within it. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Philadelphia Flyers by a score of 2-1 in overtime Saturday afternoon in Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay. I got that last thrill out of my system. Now that that's done and the hurrah and the hands go up and everything, am I really supposed to be, when things get serious, impressed by a 2-1 overtime win on the road against the 10th worst team in the league right now? That's supposed to be instilling me with confidence for this team to think that they might reach up and get into a playoff spot? You just got embarrassed against Vegas at home on Tuesday night. I was expecting a bursting out, confidence building regulation win. You do remember, Preds, that overtime wins count as the second tiebreaker in the standings if it comes down to equal points. I'm glad I was stuck at my day job that pays the bills around here rather than stuck at home watching this game live, because I would have been pulling my hair out of how you let the Flyers hang around in this game and block 30 or so of your shots. Yes, it's all very well and good that the Preds ultimately got the W, and that is what counts. But for building confidence going into a stretch run here with the trade deadline just around the corner, how am I supposed to be feeling better after Tuesday's loss with this barely eking out a win? Again, out of the starting gate, just like you struggled against Vegas. You only had 5 shots on goal in the first period. Let me not skip over the blender decisions that is Coach Hines constructing this lineup night after night after night. Tommy Novak, healthy scratch over Mark Janikowski, who was put back in the lineup. Really? Sure, the experiment worked, but it doesn't mean it was the right call. And I know I speak for a portion of the loyal Preds fan base when I say we can't wait to see what Coach John Hines comes up with as he sticks things together on the whiteboard for a lineup back home in Bridgestone Arena against Arizona on Monday night. Because in case you turned off the game early, close to the first intermission, and then wasn't paying attention to the Preds bench or who was on the ice, didn't you notice somebody was missing? Yes, that's right, Philip Forsberg, because as the clock wound down for the first period horn to Carter Hart's right behind the Flyers net, Forsberg gets tangled up with Ristolainen, who shoves him into the glass, and Forsberg falls awkwardly. He had to be helped off of the ice by Matt Duchene and Dante Fabro. Credit to Mikael Granlund, Dante Fabro, and Matthias Ekholm for being the most vocal, along with Preds coaching staff on the Preds bench to the officials and the players to the Flyers bench that there ended up being no call. I don't know why there wasn't a call. I also don't know why on the NHL.com's highlight package of this game, a big name like Philip Forsberg wasn't shown being injured. So unless you watched the game, which I also DVR'd, I wouldn't have known that Forsberg had gotten hurt on Monday night. I'd be like, where the hell is Forsberg? A name like Forsberg has got to be in that highlight package for the good when he scores a big goal, or unfortunately he leaves the game hurt. And what is it with Philip Forsberg in the city of Philadelphia? If you remember, Preds fans, the last time the Preds were in Philadelphia last season, yes, they lost, but Forsberg tied the franchise record in goals. Yay, a season later and he comes back and he gets hurt. Hopefully not for too long. In the second period, barely 15 seconds in, oh look, Tanner Jeannot and Nick Deslauriers get into a scrap. Still not seeing Ristolainen having to answer the bell for what he did. Whether right or wrong, you usually have to atone for a play that caused an injury, but I'll wait it out and see if I'll have to answer the bell later. That was a good, clean fight. Then, almost 2 minutes into the second period, to save Preds Nation from their ensuing insanity worrying about Forsberg, the Preds would atone for their fallen teammate. After UC Saul starts a breakout in his zone, the puck ends up on Matt Duchene's stick. He skates down the left wing board. He's got somebody with him. He's waiting for the right moment. He gets a shot towards Carter Hart's net. Maybe he was hoping it would go in. Maybe not. But anyways, the puck from Matt Duchene's stick comes towards the Flyers net. It tips in off of Niederreiter. It goes in. The Preds open the scoring 1-0. Welcome back, Nino. Your 14th of the season. Your first goal in 15 games. Long overdue. Preds not cranking up the pressure like they should be against a team like the Flyers. They would only manage 9 shots on goal in the second period. 14 over the first 2. They have to be better consistently on Monday against Arizona. And that lack of execution would cost the Preds because under 9.5 left to go in the second period, Matthias Ekholm completely misses his man, and Kevin Hayes is able to go in on a breakaway on UC Saros. And Saros makes the best save he can, but Hayes is still able to deke him out, put it in, and tie this boring game at 1. Okay, and just over 7 minutes left to go in the second period. Another fight. Joel Farabee and Juuso Parssinen. Not Ristolainen, I guess. Okay, yes. Hey, look, everybody. UC Parssinen is really getting himself back in the NHL as a young kid. He's gotten a goal in his first game with the Preds, and now he's fighting for his former line mate, who he wasn't even playing with because Hines is screwing up the lines. But hey, Parson takes the lumps like a good young player. And we move on. I still don't understand why Ristolainen didn't have to fight at least once. A team with the reputation that the Flyers have, if the shoe was on the other foot, they would have been demanding that the Ristolainen equivalent would have had to fight and atone for a hit like on one of their players that was dealt out on Forsberg. Flyers have some great chances, but UC Saros bails out his team, and this game somehow is tied at 1 after 2. Preds with a much better third period than their first 2 periods almost combined, as they would muster double digits in only this period of the 4 in the entire game. Flyers did have a great chance to end it in regulation and devastate every Preds fan, as with about 4.5 minutes left to go in regulation. Oh, look, it's Kevin Hayes again in to potentially save the Flyers' day. But this time, unlike in the second period, UC Saros gets a piece of his breakaway, keeping this game tied at 1, giving the Preds a chance to get the second point in overtime, even though they should have done it in regulation. Fortunately, things would not take very long to be decided in overtime. Ryan Johansson at the Preds blue line carries the puck completely out into the neutral zone at the Flyers blue line, just over. He drop passes it to number 95, Matt Duchene, who skates into the middle of the ice in the Flyers zone, uses Cam York as a screen, snaps it on net. It beats Carter Hart. Preds walk off this epic chaos headache of a game and win it 2-1. So yay, overtime win against the lackluster Flyers team. Not a lot of confidence you can build out of this game. On the contrary, you know what a lot of Preds Nation is looking for out of this team right now, Preds front office? We see what the Blues did this week, trading Vladimir Tarasenko to the Rangers, and the Blues are barely behind the Preds in the standings. That Blues team knows what direction it's going in this season, and it's building for the future. God help the Preds on behalf of their fans, who will be enraged if the Blues somehow fall themselves into Connor Bedard. Do you know what you are, 501 Broadway? To Preds Nation, you look like a team that is content year after year. After the peak that was 2017, the playoff run, and 2018, the President's Trophy, you look like an organization that is just content to make the playoffs and get a few playoff gates and maybe squeak into the second round. Is that what you are again this year? Content to just make the playoffs and then get bounced in the first round against Dallas, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vegas, Seattle in its second year? Because if you are unwilling to make trades to improve the future of this team, and you stand pat or make a minor tweak selling off a piece of this franchise's future, and then you miss the playoffs but not badly enough not to fall in the bottom 12, and you fall into that middle of the road non-playoff team with an average chance at drafting a future star? Preds fans are not going to forgive you much longer. After 25 years of existence as a team, the loyal fans of this team deserve better than to see a mid-level first-round pick have to spend 2 to 3 years in Milwaukee before it even has a chance at playing one game in the NHL. Right now, leading to the March 3rd trade deadline, this team has 9 games left. 8 of them against current non-playoff teams. That also includes the next 7 straight. I say you got to win at least 5 of the next 7, or I am fully on board for a sell. Whether that be Nito Niederreiter, who's on an easy 2-year deal, Matthias Ekholm, who's still a great talent, who has team term. Figure something out if you don't win that much over the next 7 games. And then if you do happen to fall into full-on sell mode, and let me not forget, in Filip Forsberg's absence, he's probably going to be out at least a short time, hopefully not a long time. Philip Tomasino comes to mind as someone who has earned himself a call-up with how well he's playing in Milwaukee, finally to play in his spot in a top 6 role. And then a number of things happen with the kids playing. Maybe they earn themselves because of how well they have played in Milwaukee the last couple of seasons. Maybe the kids do get you into a playoff spot. If not, you find out what you have going into next season. And if all else fails, most likely by playing the kids and seeing them work their butt off, maybe you still fall into a bottom 12 spot if you figured out you're in full-on sell mode, and that way you get an even bigger piece moving forward for seasons to come. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on a channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. And please, Preds, win more comfortably Monday night at home against Arizona, or else the calls to get something out of this season are only going to get louder.